A very good afternoon. You're watching Lunchtime News on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Yuki Pasha. Before we head into your stories in detail, let's start off with a look at this afternoon's headlines.
Indian Army Chief arrives in Sri Lanka for an official visit. Teachers' trade unions to meet Prime Minister. Fertilizer distribution begins amidst farmers' protests. Cabinet approves proposal for cybersecurity laws. World Health Organization recommends booster COVID-19 vaccines.
Starting off with your top story for this afternoon, the Cabinet has approved a proposal to increase the retirement age of private sector workers up to 60.
We know that private sector employees retire after 55 years. The average life expectancy in Sri Lanka has passed 79. Therefore, this decision is important. Workers who haven't reached 52 years when the law is implemented will be able to retire by 60. The bill will propose a suitable retirement plan for those who have passed that age limit.
The Chief of the Army Staff of the Indian Army, General Manoj Mukund Naravana, arrived in the country for a 5-day visit this morning. Now, this was following an invitation extended by his Sri Lankan counterpart, Chief of Defence Staff and Commander of the Army, General Shavendra Silva. During his stay, General Manoj Mukund Naravana is scheduled to pay courtesy calls on President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa and other top brass of the government.
ඉන්දියානු යුද්ධ හමුදාපතිතුමා අද දිනේදී දින 5ක සංචාරයක් සඳහා ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට පැමිණීමට නියමිතයි.
Indian Army commander will arrive in the country to engage in a 5-day official tour. He is expected to call on President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa during his stay. He is also scheduled to attend the Regiment Day of the Gajama Regiment of the Sri Lanka Army, which is considered an outstanding regiment. The Indian Army Chief will also inspect an infantry exercise conducted by Sri Lankan and Indian forces in Maduroya.
පාබල රෙජිමේන්තු විසින් කරන අභ්‍යාසයක් මාදුරුවය ප්‍රදේශයේ තිබෙන එම අභ්‍යාසයටත් නිරීක්ෂණය කිරීම සඳහා යාමට නියමිතව තිබෙනවා.
The Cabinet has approved to draft a bill named Defence Cyber Command Act.
It has been observed that many factors directly affecting national security exist in the cyberspace. The Sri Lanka Cyber Protection Agency will be established to fulfill national and international requirements for this purpose and to act with other cooperating agencies. This proposal was unanimously approved by the Cabinet yesterday.
Authorities have begun distributing liquid organic fertilizer for the Maha cultivation season. Now, the Agrarian Services Commissioner General said the liquid fertilizer has been produced locally. He added that farmers have also produced organic fertilizer.
Meanwhile, views were expressed on the fertilizer shortage at today's cabinet media briefing.
The
president made a policy decision not based on a dream he saw. It's something that is accepted around the world. But there is a problem surrounding its usage. During yesterday's cabinet meeting, we were told that a plan had been made to distribute fertilizer. I believe the manner in which the plan was made will be clarified at a press briefing tomorrow.
මාධ්‍ය හමුවක් තියලා ඔබට පැහැදිලි කරાવી පොර බෙදා හැරීමේ යාන්ත්‍රණය සකස් වෙච්ච ආකාරය.
Farmers in Dikwella, Mathura point out that their cultivation activities have been hampered without both chemical and organic fertilizer. Due to the fertilizer shortage, 40 farming families that engage in paddy cultivation in 375 acres have now been left helpless.
I don't understand what they are doing. Why don't they sell it? I saw urea at a shop in Ratmale for 3,000 rupees. How did urea get to these shops? They hide it and distribute it to traders and keep a commission. That is what they are doing.
If we use organic fertilizer, we will have to apply a bigger quantity than chemical fertilizer. If this goes any further, farming will be abandoned in the near future. Even now, we are cultivating without fertilizer. If we do not receive fertilizer, we will be helpless. There is no point if we do not get the fuel and fertilizer at the required time. We are doing this without any assurance.
Farmers of Madadumbara Ambale in Kandy are another group that is facing numerous difficulties due to the shortage of fertilizer. Farmers believe because of this problem they might lose income. In more local news, a special discussion between Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa and representatives of trade unions against teacher-principal salary anomalies is currently being held at the Temple Trees. Teachers and principals in the country are currently engaging in a trade union action citing salary anomalies. It is against such a backdrop that officials decided to reopen schools in a phased manner from the 21st of October. However, the Teacher and Principals Trade Union Alliance says they would intensify their struggle if their demands are not met by then. A discussion between Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa and trade unions engaging in the strike is currently being held at the Temple Trees. Representatives of the trade unions expressed the following views before attending the discussion.
We carried our struggle forward for over 2 months and constantly requested for a discussion. It was granted to us today. We expect a positive outcome. If not, the struggle will go forward. Today marks 3 months since we launched this union action. It can only be resolved through dialogue. We are ready for it at any given time. We will attend today's discussion with high hopes. We expect the government to provide us with a fair solution today. We will attend today's discussions in a positive mindset. We hope the government will resolve this issue, keeping in mind the welfare of 4.4 million school students.
Chairman of the All Ceylon Nurses Union, Venerable Muruthetwe Anandathera, also met the Prime Minister yesterday as an intermediary party to discuss possible solutions to this dispute. Meanwhile, questions were raised at today's cabinet media briefing on fuel prices.
Whether we like it or not, a good that isn't produced locally has to be imported at the cost in the world market. Fuel isn't produced in Sri Lanka. The price of a barrel of fuel will surpass 100 rupees soon. Therefore, the price of fuel, gas, milk powder and dal will increase. A famine emerged whenever there was a pandemic. The cost of essential goods in India, Bangladesh, Nepal and Bhutan are higher than in our own country. The energy minister can't purchase fuel for a high price from the world market and sell it for a low price in the country. Yesterday it was reported that the ministry incurs a loss of 10 billion rupees per month. The public will have to incur that loss. He will have to match the price with world market rates. How it would be done will be discussed with the finance ministry in the future.
Protests were held in several areas opposing the rising cost of living.
The protests were held against the fertilizer shortage and the rising cost of essential goods including gas. United National Party members of the Ukwala Pradesh Sabha staged a protest opposite the local authority. United National Party members of the Sitawaka Pradesh Sabha and party supporters held a protest in Paduka.
The government has increased the cost of goods badly during a pandemic that will affect people badly. The government is responsible for providing relief to the people.
A father of two in Kalutara staged a protest on a tree seeking a dry ration pack of 5,000 rupees. The police provided a bag of dry rations to the man after he climbed down from the tree.
Mm-hmm. 16 houses have been damaged by a gale in Anamadur in Puttlam.
Many houses were damaged by gale force winds that existed for a few minutes. The Thonigala and Paramakhanda villages in Puttalam were the most affected. Locals say the roofs of some houses were blown away for about 200 meters.
Students of Yoshida Shokandri International School in Sapugaskanda have achieved top results in the GCE Ordinary Level examination. The Yoshida Shokandri International School in Sapugaskanda has earned glory through education, sports and other activities. 10 students of this school have achieved top results in the GCE Ordinary Level examination. Many academic activities are to be held based on the advice of the school's founder, Venerable Banagalopate Sathera, who is also the Chief Sangha Nayaka for Japan. The World Health Organization recommended that immunocompromised people can be given an additional dose of COVID-19 vaccine due to their higher risk of breakthrough infections after standard immunization.
The Strategic Advisory Group of Experts on Immunization said the additional dose should be offered, quote, as part of an extended primary series, since these individuals are less likely to respond adequately to vaccination following a standard primary vaccine series and are at high risk of severe COVID-19 disease, end quote. The WHO Vaccine Director Kate O'Brien, referring to people with lower immunity due to other conditions, said at a news briefing, quote, the recommendation is for a third vaccination, an additional vaccination in the primary series, and again that is based on the evidence showing that the immunogenicity and evidence on breakthrough infections is highly disproportionately represented by those people, end quote.
In some tragic local news, a person has died after a car crashed onto a concrete pillar in Kantale last night. A police officer who was travelling in the car was injured.
The car had crashed onto a concrete pillar in Kantale at around 10 last night. It was travelling from Trincomalee to Colombo. A 50-year-old resident of Gaul had died in the collision. A correspondent reported that a police officer injured in the crash has been hospitalized. An investigation is being carried out to determine whether the crash occurred due to drunk driving.
The International Monetary Fund has expressed full confidence in Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva. She is facing allegations of pressuring World Bank staff to alter data in a report to favor China.
The International Monetary Fund's Managing Director, Kristalina Georgieva, has been accused of pressuring World Bank staff to alter data to favor China. The allegation was made in a report prepared by a law firm for the World Bank's board. The firm accused Georgieva of pressurizing staff to boost China's ranking in the World Bank's Doing Business report, but she has denied the allegations. The IMF's board reviewed the allegation and said the available information didn't conclusively demonstrate that she played an improper role. It added there is no reason to change the IMF leadership as there was no evidence to prove Georgieva's direct involvement. Kristalina Georgieva has welcomed the board's endorsement in a separate statement of her own. She had said she was pleased its members had agreed the allegations against her were unfounded.
Taking a look back at your local news, Deputy Director General of Health Services Dr. Hemanta Herat says a drop in the number of university students arriving at vaccination centres has been observed. The inoculation process of university students commenced yesterday.
I hope university officials will create awareness on this and encourage students to obtain the vaccine. It is vital to vaccinate everyone before recommencing activities at universities. Unfortunately, the vaccines these children expect are only delivered in limited quantities. Only around 400,000 people have been administered the Pfizer vaccine in the country so far. Not even 1 million people overall have been administered the Pfizer vaccine. It is delivered in limited quantities because we do not have sufficient resources to purchase this particular vaccine.
මිලදී ගැනීමටවත් අපිට ලේසියෙන් පුළුවන් තත්ත්වයක් නැති නිසා තමයි මේ විදිහට මේක සීමා වෙලා තියෙන්නේ.
The State Ministry of COVID-19 Disease Control says the vaccination of those above 30 years of age is nearing 100%. State Minister Sudarshini Fernandez-Pillay revealed the number of COVID-19 patients at hospitals has also reduced.
A drop in the number of patients has been reported as of now. Around 700 cases are reported daily. Deaths have also reduced. The demand for beds, ICUs and oxygen to treat COVID-19 patients has also reduced. However, it is paramount that we adhere to strict health guidelines. Given the strength of the virus, it could spread rapidly. The Delta variant spread through people who are vaccinated as well.
Will health guidelines change in the future? If society continues to strictly follow health guidelines, we can expect a lax regulations to be announced. However, on the contrary, if health guidelines are disregarded, we might have to extend these regulations.
Wild elephant attacks have become a common sight in rural Sri Lanka. The latest incident occurred last night as wild elephants damaged 2 houses in Polonnaruwa.
Villagers of Valikande in Polonnaruwa say they have failed to drive away elephants using crackers. These villagers are seeking a permanent solution to this long-standing problem. Villagers of Anamadua are facing a similar fate. They say more wild elephants are encroaching into their area. The villagers are demanding an immediate solution.
And with that, it's a wrap of Lunchtime News here on TV1. Take care and good day.